Don't be jealous. Don't start asking me where I bought it or if I can send you some. It's not going to happen. This is basically karma for contributing to the fitness industry. I was awarded with a lot of Increlex, always giving back. I will document everything here on YouTube. Vigorous Steve here for the first time ever on YouTube. We're going to unbox Increlex by Ipsen from France, also known as Mecarcamine or recombinant human insulin-like growth factor 1. I have 4 boxes, 160 milligrams in total. This box is 40 milligrams, 10 milligrams per 1 milliliter. I'm going to do the reconstitution live on camera. Don't ask me where I got it from. No, I will not ship you some. This has been a decade in the making. I've been looking everywhere. And unfortunately, I paid an arm and a leg for a single box, so I'm going to do my due diligence experimenting with it and show that here live on YouTube like I always do. So I have a separate camera here off screen to record the top view. So I'm going to do a reconstitution, unboxing, etc. But before we do, please like the video, leave a comment for the algorithm, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And if you want to support the channel, which I certainly do, need your support after buying this much Increlex, because again, I paid an arm and a leg for it. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by joining either the YouTube or Patreon memberships, where you can vote for upcoming deep dives, or join the weekly Vigorous Q&A, which is always on Saturday. So without further ado, let's get started. So here we have Increlex. Again, Increlex right here. I have 3 sterile vials, because I'm going to transfer some of the content of this 40 milligrams per 4 milliliter vial to sterile vial, so I don't have to continuously repuncture the vial, making it lose potency over time. Based on the medical insert, Increlex can be used up to 30 days after reconstitution. That means that I would technically have to use 1.3 milligrams every single day, but I want to start low and build my way up. So I'm going to transfer 10 milligrams to a sterile vial, keep the other 30 milligrams, 3 milliliters in the Increlex vial, and then I'm going to dilute that with sterile water. This is the only water that I have available. I have some natrium chloride water, but nothing with benzyl alcohol. That's currently on the way. So the first batch that I'm going to dilute is just simply with sterile water. I don't have anything that comes close to the preservative that comes along in this vial of Increlex produced by Ipsen. All right, let's get started with opening the box. This is literally like Christmas, guys. A nice incision here. And then we're going to start unboxing the good stuff. Okay, we have an insert, but this is all in France. This is not the medical reasoning why I'm going to use this. So this box we're going to put to the side. I'll link the insert, which is in English, down below. We'll probably go highlight a couple things that are mentioned in the insert as we're going along. Here is the Increlex vial, and it's already reconstituted. So I expected to do my own reconstitution, but this is already reconstituted. As you can see here, it's a 10 milligram per 1 milliliter vial, but it's 4 milliliters, a total of 40 milligrams. The rest is all in French. I'll show you it on the main camera. This is the vial. This is the vial. That's hundreds of dollars in my hand right here. And the liquid is clear. You can see that? The liquid is clear. So luckily, the transport has been performed properly. If this was cloudy, I shouldn't be using it, and I would be crying based on the amount of money that I spent on the single vial. So this is right here. This box, right, is now kind of useless because I usually don't keep this stuff in. All right, we'll put this to the side. And now, since I don't need to reconstitute, I'm just going to take an insulin syringe after I clean the top, because this is too expensive to mess with. All right, twist that around. Put this to the sides. Let that dry a bit as I'm opening up the insulin syringe. And let me clean this top as well. This is a sterile vial that I got from Amazon. All right, so now we're going to transfer the Increlex to a sterile vial, just 10 milligrams, 1 milliliter, using an insulin syringe. Not too fast. Again, guys, I'm drawing liquid gold. So you got to be super careful. Let me show you guys here. Super careful that it doesn't go clouded, because the last thing I want is this to turn cloudy and lose a significant amount of money. All right, an insulin syringe with, well, over $100 of active pharmaceutical ingredient. Flip that around. And then transfer that to a sterile vial. Right. Nice and slow. We don't have to rush. This is my first, well, not my first, but one of many penetrations where I'm transferring, not inseminating, a sterile vial with active pharmaceutical ingredient. All right. Now, there we go. We got 30 milligrams left and 10 milligrams in this sterile vial. And since I'm such a nice guy, and since Aaron hooked me up slightly with the connection to allow me to purchase this, I'm not done here. We're going to transfer 10 milligrams for my good friend. Let's call it a finder's fee for Mr. Aaron Burke. However he wants to dilute and reconstitute this, that's entirely up to him. But since he's much larger than I am, and I think it's a waste to use 1.3 milligrams of recombinant human insulin-like growth factor 1 every single day, we're going to transfer 10 milligrams to a sterile vial, which I'm going to give to Mr. Aaron Burke, so he can make even more gains that I'm expecting to make, because he's a lot more muscular, and on half of the chase iron cycle. Not the full one, but half. Give or take. All right, put that here. Then transfer that to a sterile vial for Mr. Aaron Burke. Nice and slow. And as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to put everything in the fridge, because it clearly says it in the insert that you should store this between 2 to 7 degrees Celsius. Or maybe 3 to 8, somewhere around that range. So it should be kept cold. And the longer I sit here, the more I'm worried I'm going to lose potency. And every % of potency that I'm losing, that's dollars on the total. So again, we got to be hasty, guys. And we'll have to flick the water down. Open one. Cheers. Another one. Just got to be careful so you don't mutilate your fingertips. All right, push the excess air out and then draw another 2 milliliters of sterile water. And now the moment of truth. Will it denature or not? Injecting sterile water. Let's find out. So far, so good. Man, this is nerve-wracking, guys. So far, so good. All right, we're transferring the sterile water into the vial with 10 milligrams, 1 milliliter of Increlex. So far, it's going well. But I feel a little bit double pressure, so let me remove a little bit of air. And we're going to inject the rest. Nice and easy, nice and slow. Don't want to mess anything up. And there it is. Okay. Let's suck everything out. Now what I'm going to do is whatever air is in here, I'm going to remove it. Because the more air is in there, the more likelihood I have to denature the product. So Now what I want is a dose. Initially I wanted to start at 25 micrograms bilaterally. So today I'm going to train chest. But if I need 25 micrograms, I literally have to draw 1 IU on the insulin syringe, right? I'll put the calculations on the screen right now so you can see what the breakdown is of this diluted content. What I'm going to do today is draw 5 IUs and inject that bilaterally. That's 50 micrograms per administration. 5 IUs on the insulin syringe is 100 micrograms recombinant human insulin-like growth factor 1, right? Increlex. This is as little as 5 IUs. Hopefully we can see that on the overhead camera. I'll draw the 6 IUs. Right, so this is all we got. And then I'll have to remove this, the air. All right. For a total of 5 IUs. And the insulin syringe, which is 100 micrograms. Probably can't see that, but here it is, right? This is on the menu for today. Let me put this in the fridge so it doesn't denature over time. I'll be right back. All right, we got it done. Actually, it was pretty straightforward. I expected that the Increlex came with a separate vial, a 4 milliliter vial or ampule of reconstituting solvent agent to help dissolve the lyophilized puck. But this is already pre-constituted, already liquid. Again, very happy that it didn't show up clouded, didn't show up denatured, because you always have to worry a little bit about the supply chain when it comes to these liquid peptides, like insulin, for example, or growth hormone, and in this case, Increlex. I remember the first time I bought Genotropin, which you have to reconstitute yourself. I didn't know how to do that, so I asked my broski, who was able to supply that for me, to show me how to reconstitute Genotropin. And of course, that guy made the exact same mistake that everybody makes when they first start reconstituting their Genotropin pens. A to B goes very well. The liquid goes to the top. It starts to dissolve the lyophilized puck, and the solution is clear. Then you have to twist B to C to get the last little bit of air out. And then you ejaculate, you come, you squirt recombinant human growth hormone all over your kitchen countertop, wasting dollars upon dollars upon dollars. And of course, you're not going to draw this, growth hormone that's now on your countertop with insulin syringes. That's a little bit too nasty. So the remainder of growth hormone that he handed to me, I cradled like a little child. It was literally gold. And then I had to bring this to my house to start using this for recreational purposes there, right? So honestly, I was a little bit worried that I was going to have to deal with a similar reconstitution process and then deal with the vacuum. Is there a vacuum? Is there no vacuum, right? Or dealing with positive pressure and then all of your Increlex that you've now reconstituted is squirting out of your bottle. Thank God I didn't have to do that. Now going forward, I will deal with 10 milligram vials that I transfer from the Increlex vial to a sterile vial and then kind of dilute that with sterile water or some other solution that I'm going to source online. Ideally, bacteriostatic water containing 0.9% benzyl alcohol for sterility purposes, which is very close to the solution that Increlex comes in. Increlex contains per 1 milliliter 10 milligrams recombinant human insulin-like growth factor 1, mecarcilin, 9 milligrams per milliliter benzyl alcohol, so that's 0.9%. 5.84 milligrams per 1 milliliter sodium chloride, 2 milligrams per 1 milliliter polysorbate 20, and 0.05 M acetate at a pH of approximately 5.4. So even if I use bacteriostatic water, 4 milliliters on top of the 1 milliliter, which contains 10 milligrams of IGF-1, I'm not exactly creating the same solution, right? I would still need sodium chloride and polysorbate 20 and whatever this 0.05 M acetate is. Give me your recommendations down below. Again, this is a little bit of a unique item. Not so many people have experience with Increlex. Again, I've been on the lookout for 10 years and now finally, I got my hands on some, but I don't want to ruin it by diluting it with, a solution that isn't really suitable to use as a dilutant. So for now, we're going to use sterile water. I mean, that's just demineralized H2O. So hopefully that will work on the first vial that I transferred. Again, fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed. If you have any suggestions, just let me know down below and I'll make the appropriate adjustments for the following vials that I'm going to utilize over the next couple of weeks. Again, I want to start at a pretty low and conservative dose. When you look at the medical insert, you see that Increlex starts the dosing protocol starts for children who are IGF-1 deficient, right, and need a little bit of IGF-1 for their height to grow naturally, right, at the normal rate based on their genetic makeup. The dose of Increlex is 0.04 to 0.08 milligrams per 1 kilogram. So that's 40 to 80 micrograms per 1 kilogram twice per day by subcutaneous administration. If well tolerated for at least 1 week, the dose may be increased by 0.4 milligrams per 1 kilogram per dose to a maximum dose of 0.12 milligrams per 1 kilogram of body weight twice per day, 120 micrograms twice per day. And again, that's per kilogram, assuming that it's well tolerated. The very common occurrence of Increlex at higher dosages is hypoglycemia. That happens in 42% of the cases, again, being kids suffering from IGF-1 deficiency. Now, personally, I'm not really IGF-1 deficient. My IGF-1 levels, depending on what I'm taking, whether that's including growth hormone or not, hover anywhere between 180 to 250 nanograms per milliliter. So that's certainly not bad. And if I want to extrapolate from this data, being 100 kilograms, even at the lowest dose of 0.04 milligrams per 1 kilogram, I would have to use every single day 4 milligrams. So I would run through a vial in 10 days, right, containing 40 milligrams in total. So I'm not going to go that high. Basically, I wanted to start at 25 micrograms bilaterally. So that's 50 micrograms daily in total. And then depending on the effects, I wanted to slowly but steadily start doubling in increments. So from 25 micrograms bilaterally to 50 micrograms to 100 micrograms, 200 micrograms. Of course, the total per day would be double that because you do 2 administrations at the same time. That's what bilaterally means. Now, since the dilution using sterile water of this 10 milligram per 1 milliliter only results me to allow 5 IUs being 100 micrograms, splitting that up into 2 shots bilaterally, I'm going to start with 50 micrograms bilaterally, so that's 100 micrograms in total. Wish me luck today. Today is chest day. Hopefully I have some good anecdotal report at the end of this experiment on the first day of using Increlex. And I'll be using this for approximately 10 days, after which I'll take some before and after pictures and document my results here on YouTube. I'm not entirely sure which dose I'm going to end up at, but I'll keep you guys posted maybe on Instagram posts or at least in the final video, which I will release. Once I figure out the sweet spot dose, whether that's 50 micrograms bilaterally or 100 or 200 or 400 micrograms bilaterally, maybe I'll even use 1 milligram every single day, 500 micrograms bilaterally. Again, the dosing that you hear anecdotally is anywhere between 25 micrograms bilaterally up to 500 micrograms bilaterally. So I guess I'm going to have to get my hands dirty and figure it out for myself. Once I hit that sweet spot dose, I will incorporate Januvia, sitagliptin, which is a dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitor, which would otherwise promote the breakdown of growth factors, including recombinant human insulin-like growth factor 1. So besides preventing the breakdown of insulin and incretins like GIP and GLP-1 and a couple other growth factors, potentially including growth hormone releasing hormone, so maybe my growth hormone levels will go up slightly, although I will still be using exogenous growth hormone, 2.4 IUs per day. I'm not going to change anything to my diet, not going to change anything to my fertility protocol or my supplementation or my additional growth hormone that I take around the workouts. I'm going to add in the IGF-1 pre-workout, figure out the sweet spot dose, then use Januvia, sitagliptin around the same time to prevent the breakdown of the exogenous IGF-1 to see if I can elicit a more pronounced effect, and then document everything here with before and after blood work as soon as I have the after blood work. I've also done my cancer marker screenings earlier this year. I think it was in May or March, so you don't have to worry about that. All of those markers were in range. I check those every year. And of course, a couple weeks ago, let's say 2 weeks ago, I did full blood work panel, but I didn't really feel to, make a separate video about that because everything was basically in range. So I'll do a comparison video before and after, after, let's say 10 days on Increlex at various dosages, including sitagliptin at one point, to keep you guys posted. I'll donate 10 milligrams, 1 milliliter to Aaron because he can put it to work a lot better than I do because I'm not really training that much for hypertrophy or overall bodybuilding aspirations. but he certainly is. So I'm expecting the world out of his gains. Personally, all I'm expecting is a little bit of a recomp effect. Again, I'm not on anabolic androgenic steroids, not training super hard, eating in a caloric deficit. I'm preparing to go to Japan at the end of this month, and I just want to be in a better shape than I am now. So stay tuned for the before and after pictures. I'll take my first before pictures tomorrow morning because I didn't do them today, and I haven't done so in a very long time because, well, there's not much to report at this point. I have a slight dad bod, to be fair, so maybe I can improve over as little as 10 days. I do hear that IGF-1, legitimate IGF-1, is the shiznit, right? But stay tuned for the final results dropping somewhere around the end of this month or early September. For now, I'll leave it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't be jealous. Don't start asking me where I bought it or if I can send you some. It's not going to happen. This is basically karma for contributing to the fitness industry. I was awarded with a little bit of Increlex and, always giving back. I will document everything here on YouTube. For now, let's leave it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can find everything that I'm associated with down below in the YouTube description section. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at VigorSteve. Vigorous crew, you guys know what to do. A pre-Increlex front double bicep, not bad. But let's see how much we can level up with, stay tuned on the actual dosing protocol. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one.